Charles Dickens's most compelling novels, Great Expectations tells the story of a child whose life journey begins in innocence and is tested by dreams until it reaches maturity. The narrator of the novel is Pip. The story is shaped by his retrospective gaze upon his own past. For this reason, what is told is not merely a sequence of events, but also a profound examination of conscience. Pip is a boy growing up in the English countryside, having lost his parents at an early age. He is raised by his harsh-tempered sister, while the true source of warmth in the household is his brother-in-law, the blacksmith Joe Gargery. Pip's world is small, simple, and secure. Yet one evening in the graveyard, his encounter with the escaped convict Abel Magwitch becomes the first turning point in his quiet life. Terrified and desperate, the man asks Pip for help, and through the child's compassion he manages to evade capture. The guilt and fear Pip experiences mark the first great trial of his conscience. Soon after, Pip is summoned to the strangest house in the region, the mansion of Miss Havisham. Abandoned on her wedding day years before, she seems to have frozen time at that very moment. She wanders through darkened rooms in her faded bridal gown, surrounded by stopped clocks and a decaying wedding feast. She has adopted Estella and raises her to be cold and proud, intending to take revenge on men through her. Pip falls in love with Estella at first sight. Yet her scornful remarks plant deep feelings of inferiority within him. He grows ashamed of the roughness of his hands and the simplicity of his speech. Being a blacksmith's apprentice is no longer enough. He longs to become a gentleman. Just as these desires begin to take root, Pip's life changes unexpectedly. An anonymous benefactor leaves him a great fortune. He is to go to London, receive an education, and be raised as a gentleman. Pip believes this generosity comes from Miss Havisham and assumes it is part of a destiny prepared for him to marry Estella. His great expectations are built upon this mistaken belief. Stepping into a new life in London, Pip befriends Herbert Pocket and, through the lawyer Jaggers and his clerk Wemmick, who administer the fortune, enters refined social circles. Yet wealth and display fail to nourish his soul. He gradually becomes arrogant and wasteful, distancing himself from Joe and attempting to erase his past. Meanwhile, an inner emptiness grows within him. The happiness he anticipates does not correspond to the money he possesses. The true upheaval comes one night when a stranger knocks at his door, Magwitch, the convict he once helped in the graveyard. It is he who stands behind Pip's entire fortune. Having earned money in Australia, he has devoted it to the boy who once showed him kindness. Pip's world is shaken. The wealth that was meant to secure his respectability comes from a criminal. Shame, disappointment, and anger mingle within him. Yet in time, Pip recognizes Magwitch's sacrifice and devotion. In the old man's eyes, Pip is not a gentleman, but a cherished child to whom he owes gratitude. From this point on, Pip's inner transformation begins. He attempts to help Magwitch escape and regain his freedom, but the plan fails. Magwitch is captured and sentenced to death. Pip remains by his side in his final days. Holding the hand of the man he once felt ashamed of, he learns the true meaning of loyalty. As Magwitch dies, Pip fully understands how hollow the notions of class and gentility can be. Having lost his fortune, Pip falls into debt and illness. Once again, it is Joe who rescues him. Joe's quiet goodness shatters all of Pip's proud illusions. He comes to see that true nobility lies not in outward display but in the heart. The regret he feels for denying his origins matures him. Miss Havisham, meanwhile, pays dearly for her desire for revenge. Estella's coldness is merely a reflection of her own wounded soul. In the end, she feels remorse, yet the past cannot be undone. Estella enters an unhappy marriage and, through suffering, changes. Years later, when she and Pip meet again, what remains between them is no longer youthful passion but a tempered understanding born of shared sorrow. Great Expectations is not merely a tale of rise and fall. It reminds us that one cannot escape one's roots and that happiness is measured not by wealth but by conscience. Pip's great expectations are first defined by money and status. In the end, he realizes that true hope lies in self-forgiveness and in the capacity to love. Through his critique of class divisions and the justice system in Victorian England, Dickens delicately explores the most fragile corners of the human spirit. When the novel ends, one thought lingers. Sometimes the greatest lessons are learned through the deepest disappointments. Pip's journey is the story of gaining by losing, of growing through falling.